Welcome to today's Bhagavad-Gita session. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Deenataranam Paramananda Madham Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. So we'll begin from text 13. Tatah shankascha bhairyascha panavanaka gomukha sahasseva bhayanayanta sa shabdas tumulo bhavat. Translation: After that, the conch shells, drums, bugles, trumpets and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous. Verse 14. Tatah shveter her yukte mahati syandane sthitau madhava pandavaschaiva divyau shankhau pradhamuttaha. On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjun, stationed on a great chariot drawn by the white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shells. Text 15. Panchjanyam Rishikesho Devadattam Dhananjayah Pondaram Dadmau Mahashankham Bhima Karma Vrikodaraha. Lord Krishna blew his conch shell called Panchjanya, Arjun blew the Devadatta, and Bhim, the voracious eater and performer of Herculean tasks, blew his terrific conch shell called Pondara. Verse 16 to 18. Ananta Vijayam Raja Kunti Putro Yudhishthiraha Nakulaha Sahadevascha Sughoshmani Pushpakau Kashyascha Parmeshwa Ashaha Shikhandi cha Maharataha Drishtadhyumno Viratascha Sayaktish Chaparajitaha Drupado Draupadeyascha Sarvashah Prithvipate Saubhadrascha Mahabahu Shankhan Dadmahu Prithak Prithak. Translation: King Yudhishthir, the son of Kunti, blew his conch shell, the Anant Vijay, and Nakul and Sahadev blew the Sughosh and Manipushpak. The great archer, the king of Kashi, the great fighter Shikhandi, Drishtdyumna, Virat, the unconquerable Satyaki, Drupad, the sons of Draupadi, and the others. O king, such as mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conch shells. Verse 19. Saghosho dhrishtrashtranam hridayani vyadarayat nabhascha prithivim chaiva tumulo bhayanuda dayan. Translation: The blowing of these different conch shells became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. Verse 20. Atha vivasthitan drishtra dhartarashtran kapidvajah pravritte shastra sampate dhanurudyamya pandavaha rishikesham tada vakya midmaha mahipate. Translation: At that time, Arjun, the son of Pandu, seated in the chariot bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra drawn in military array, Arjun then spoke to Lord Krishna these words. So from verse 13 to 20, what is the gist of these verses. Even though Duryodhan was too proud and very boastful about himself, he thought very highly about himself, but the inauspicious result of the war was quite clear from the start. There were a lot of signs indicating his defeat, because all the victory signs were with the Pandavas. Now, the ones standing on the side of purity and the righteousness, or as we say, the morally good, they are supposed to be always victorious, in spite of all the things seeming against them in this material world. So Krishna was on the side of Pandavas, so all the auspiciousness, the morally goodness, the righteousness, everything was on the side of the Pandavas. So evil cannot take one who carries goodness with them. Here it was like, because Krishna was with the Pandavas. Now Arjun was asking the guidance from the master of senses. Master of senses is of course Krishna. Krishna's other name is Rishikesh. So now the Duryodhan, he was observing from the other angle. His angle was the angle of attachment to power and victory. Now, the highest religious principle is love. Now this is what Krishna wanted to establish. Krishna was observing from the angle of love. Duryodhan was observing from the angle of attachment and power and victory. But since Krishna was with Arjun, Krishna will do anything for his devotee. Now, Krishna can kill all the miscreants for the sake of his devotee as well. But when we see the point of view Arjun is watching from, his point of view is quite mixed, because he's in a big dilemma. His dilemma is of attachment, compassion. Now Arjun should start to observe like Krishna is observing, for his viewpoint to change, for him to become proactive in the war. The lust and the greed and the anger, it's all due to enviousness. The enviousness, it leads to lust, and one wants to get better than the other person. Because we all envy God, so that's why we envy everybody else on this earth. If the lusty desire we have is fulfilled, then what happens to us is that we become more greedy, and if it doesn't get fulfilled, we become very angry. So what is the cure for envy? The cure for envy is love. Now in verse 20 we see that the signs of victory are described. Now the signs of victory are on Arjun's chariot. Of course, the charioteer is Lord Krishna himself. And all the arrangements for the military force for the Pandavas, they're guided and instructed by Krishna on the battlefield. The symbolic badge or the emblem on the top of the chariot, which Krishna is the charioteer of, has got Hanuman on the flag. And first sign is that Krishna is charioteer, so that is a sign of victory. The second sign is that the Hanuman is on the top of the flag of the chariot, so this is the second sign of victory. Now we should remember that Hanumanji, he cooperated with Lord Rama in in the Treta Yuga during the battle between Lord Rama and Ravan. And now this is Dwapar Yuga, when this battle is about to begin in Kurukshetra. Here Krishna has come, we can say Rama has come as Krishna in Dwapar. And if we see what was the constant between the two battles, the constant sign was, or the presence of the person or the warrior, that was Hanuman. Hanuman was the eternal servant of Rama in the battle of during the Treta Yuga between Rama and Ravan, and here now again in the battle of Mahabharat, Hanumanji is again present as the eternal servant on Krishna's chariot. And the third sign of victory is the goddess of fortune herself, which is Mother Sita, the eternal consort of Lord Rama. She is also there. So due to the presence of all the signs of victory, Arjun, he need not worry or need not fear for any kind of enemies. And Lord Krishna, as we said, is himself there to guide Arjun, to give him all the directions in the war. Now all the auspiciousness in the battlefield was arranged by Lord Krishna himself. And this was all arranged for his eternal devotee Arjun. And all the signs of victory were present for the Pandavas. Now Krishna the charioteer was holding the reins of 5 horses. The chariot which Krishna was driving had 5 horses. And if we compare that with ourselves in our lives, we see that we have got, for us the reins are like controlling the mind. When we surrender ourselves to Krishna, then mind takes instructions from the Paramatma. So only when we surrender to Lord Krishna properly, then only our mind starts taking proper instructions from the Paramatma, which is super soul within our heart. So we have got mind within our body, and we also have got the super soul, the driving or the directing force within us. So we have to awaken this love for Krishna first, to become surrendered to Krishna first, then only our mind will start taking the instructions properly from the Lord, who is situated as Paramatma within us. So this is easier said than done. It is a long process. We'll have to carry on training our mind and telling it about who is the controller of everything in this world and why we are here in this world. So Lord, as Paramatma, he is controlling the reins of our mind. Now Krishna is with us in the form of holy name, and our weapons are Srila Prabhupada's books. So as we always say that in Kali Yuga, Lord is present in the holy name itself. So if we can carry on hearing Arjuna's argument for not fighting in chapter 1, and in the beginning of the chapter 2 as well, we'll keep hearing the arguments. Arjun will keep putting forward that he doesn't want to fight because he is fearing the sinful reactions of killing his extended family. Now Arjun can foresee the bloodshed on the battlefield, the bloodshed which will be not only his cousins, his uncles, his other relatives, but also his teachers, his gurus. So we have covered from verses 13 to 20 today, and tomorrow we will continue from verse 21. And like I was saying yesterday in one of the posts, that if you join here, try to bring your Bhagavad-Gita with you, so you can at least look at the translations as we read them along. So I'm trying my best. It is not easy. It looks easy when we start, but just bear with me. I hope Krishna will help me to say what should be said in explaining his Bhagavad Gita. So thank you for joining. I'll see you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna.